Okay, so I've built these modules, and what I'd like to talk about now is how I can guide student movement through these modules. And I'm going to demonstrate this to you in just a moment after I complete this. But essentially what we're going to do here is we're going to add requirements, or what are known as requirements, to these modules. So I have all this content here, and I want to essentially talk a little bit more about regulating student workflow through these modules. So if I want the students to finish Unit 1 before they can move to Unit 2, what can I do? So the first thing I'm going to do is, remember I locked this so that students couldn't access it until July 18th. I'm actually going to remove that lock for now. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that, and I'm going to update this module. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Unit 1's module, and I'm going to change some of the parameters. So I'm going to start here by clicking on this cog, and I'm going to choose Edit from the menu that appears. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose Add Requirements. So what are the requirements that I want students to uphold? Well, I want students to complete a certain set of requirements before they can move through this module, okay, and move on to Unit 2's. So I want them to complete the beaker, and I want them to view the item, because that page, they just need to view it. Okay. Then I can add another requirement. I'm going to say lab report, and I'm going to say they have to at least submit an assignment before they can move on. Okay. Then I'm going to say example quiz, and I want them to score at least a certain amount. Let's say I want them to score at least a 2 out of 2 on that quiz. Awesome. And then finally, I'm going to add another requirement, the PowerPoint, and I want them to at least view that item. And then finally, let's say that I want them to do the example discussion, and I want them to contribute to the page. So I want them to have at least posted a discussion. And the cool thing is, if I want them to have to move through these in sequential order, I just check the box here, and that will force them to move through these in sequential order. So then I can update this module, and now students must move through these in that particular order, or they will not be able to move on to the next module. And now what I can do is I can come over here to Unit 2, and to notify students that they're going to need to do that, I can go here to Edit, and under Prerequisites, I can say they need to finish Unit 1 before moving to Unit 2. So this lets them know they need to finish Unit 1 before they move on to Unit 2. So let's see what this would look like from a student perspective. So I'm going to go to the student view. So again, remember, this is under Settings. And then I simply choose Student View in the right-hand side here. Okay. And now I'm going to go over here in my Student Navigation menu, and I'm going to choose Modules. Okay, so notice, if the student tries to access Unit 2, the student doesn't have access to Unit 2 at all. And this is because the student hasn't completed the prerequisite of Unit 1's module. Okay, so I'm John or Jane Every student, and it says I have to complete all items here. It's going to tell me what the requirements are for each of these items if I hover over this. So it says you must view this page. So here I am. Notice these are grayed out. I'm going to click on this one so I can view the beaker page. Here it is. There's the beaker. I viewed it. And here's the cool thing. When you're in a module and you've built pages, it allows you to move on to the next particular part of that module. So I can click the next button here, and that's going to take me to the lab report assignment. So here's the assignment. Okay. And now let's go look at our modules to see what this did to the modules. Okay. So I completed this, and now this is no longer grayed out. But I have to actually submit this assignment. So notice, for me as the student, it checks this off as being completed. So now I can go to Lab Report 1. So here I am in Lab Report 1's assignment, and I'm going to submit. So when I click on that, I get to choose a file to upload. I'm going to go ahead and I have a PDF here that's just an arbitrary PDF I'm going to upload. And I'll choose Submit Assignment. And once it does this successfully, it's going to let me know. There's going to be a big old checkbox here that says it was submitted successfully. There it is. So it says turned in. And I can either move on directly to the next portion, or if I want to check my modules again, I'll go over here. And you'll notice I have check marks here and here. Okay, let's do the example quiz. And I'm going to go ahead and take this quiz. And remember, I need to score 2 out of 2. Okay, so there we go. There we go. Submit quiz. And when I submit this, it's going to say, good job, you got a 100, awesome, and I can now check my modules. And I'm going to be able to move on now to this, so I can go here to this. It's going to allow me to download the PowerPoint, or I can even view it inline, as we're going to learn when we move on to the Pages tutorial. So there's the inline view of the PowerPoint. Okay. And then let me move on to the final bit of this module, and then we'll see that I can get into Module 2. So here we go. Now that I've viewed that page, I'm able to go here. And again, I'm John or Jane Every Student, so I can say, hello everyone, and participate in this discussion. All right. And now when I go back to modules, we're going to see that I have access to Module 2. So I now can jump into Module 2 because I completed every part of Module 1. So that's how you can add these requirements to modules. Remember, you add requirements to the module you want completed before the students can move on to the next module, and you use prerequisites to tell the students what they need to do before they get into that next module.